I just caught that.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Outer Belt. I'm Patrick, and you know my friends.
Shirley.
Buttermilk.
Eric.
Circuity bread.
And Jerry.
Oh, man, what a show, what a show. We got a great one for you tonight. We're going to be talking about all the things you're not supposed to talk about, like the ages of women.
Oh.
No.
No?
No.
Skip?
Yeah, you don't ask a woman her age. Come on, you know that, Patrick.
Why not?
Even Jerry knows that.
Weight, age, and religion.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't mess with it.
I wonder what
Political
zucchini bread would
affiliation.
say.
What?
Oh, but she's not here. She can't give her opinion.
Exactly. So
Oh,
as you
she's leaving me hanging, the only woman to fight this cause.
I know. It's only
I don't care if people ask me my age. It's not a big deal.
How old are you?
I am 49, and I'll be 50 in the fall.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Oofa.
Time for a trade-in.
Speaking of trade-ins.
I forgot you could hear me in your headphones. I thought it was...
It's too late for the warranty.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Wow. Yes, it's the last year of the infamous tutu. Be year 11.
That's awesome.
Going out strong.
I love it. You got your fabrics, your tool?
No, my dress comes in this week. I'm so excited because, some of you may know Joann's fabric is going out of business. And
So you're excited?
no, I'm excited that the dress is coming in so that I can go match material and hopefully get a discount.
Yes.
Because I don't know how else to match colors online. Because I don't know if you've ever shopped for colory things online, but the little square they give you online doesn't always look like what you get in the mail.
Yes, I have noticed that. There's actually a very cool YouTube channel that servants a lot
There is a very cool YouTube channel.
that we watch that talks about this very thing.
Yes, it does.
Well,
And it's Patagonia colors. What's it called?
Pantone.
Pantone. The Pantone.
Pantone, yeah.
Which to me sounds like a cool 1950s record label.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. Yeah.
Or the Pentatonics?
The
Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I'm thinking of it's the Weezers on Pantone Records.
Yeah.
Notice the disc. It's green, number 7. So, yes, there's half as interesting, HAI, half as interesting on YouTube.
We talked about them last week, too. We can't
did.
discuss them again this week, can
okay.
we?
Well,
I don't think they're sponsoring
They
the show,
need to
but
start
anyway,
They're not.
yes.
but
I'll be
if you would
50.
if you'd like to, you can subscribe to Nebula.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, exactly.
nothing but love to y'all. We love your stuff.
Just want the outfit to come in so I can hopefully go get some material before Joann's completely clears out some of their stores. There's 2 that I have in mind. Third is a backup. There are 5 in our general 40-mile radius. I'd like to not go to all 5 to find all the material I need.
Have you been to them lately? Like in the last
I've
couple
not.
days? I'm curious how thinned out
Yeah.
they're getting. My plan is, and I probably should do this tomorrow, honestly. So in our trucks, the seat manufacturers, or not seat manufacturers, the sleeper manufacturers, yes, they do like the custom upholstery, and they use these leathers and vinyls. And the only real place to get them locally is Joann Fabrics.
Yeah.
And so, like, if we have a seat come back and it's ripped or something, we're able to go over there, get a matching vinyl, and fix it. Sometimes you've done full-on upholstery
Restorations,
changes, right?
yeah.
Like, you
Yes.
completely
Yeah.
have rewrapped all of it and make it look great. And so this is like, ugh, that we're losing this ability. So we brainstormed the other day at your house and kind of decided, let's go buy up the remainder of the vinyls.
Yes. The basic
core,
colors.
The core colors.
The
So
core colors.
cream, gray, and black are kind of the core colors that we use
Right.
on those seats. My thought was, and I think I should do this tomorrow,
Yeah.
so hopefully when you're hearing this, it's done, is if you give me the numbers, I'll go hit all 5 stores and come back with,
Bulk.
bulk vinyl so that over the next, 6 months, we're good to go.
Can I interject?
No. So,
I'm going to. Because we just did a truck a couple of weeks ago.
yes.
I want credit for this, too, because I helped her. It wasn't just a Buttermilk project. It was
No,
a
you did
Buttermilk
help.
and chili project.
Well, you're a great stapler.
I am a great stapler.
I've heard stories.
So when
I've
we
heard
were,
stories of your stapling.
Yeah, it's
You're not allowed in Staples anymore,
Knock
right?
on wood, he
I'm
hasn't
not.
got my
You have
finger
to shop
yet.
at Office
I have
Max
to go
and
to
Office
Max,
Depot.
Office Depot. Yeah, Staples. I'm just too good for
They
that.
got jealous.
They did at my skills. And we're getting this fabric the last time, and she says to me, "Should we buy like this whole thing?" Because this was when there were just rumors of stores closing. It hadn't been officially announced.
Yes.
And I looked at her and I said, "How often do we do this? When's the last time we did this? Year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, we're going to be okay.
They're built well. It's not
We're-
super
We're
common.
going to be okay."
Yeah.
And then a week later,
We have another one.
we have another one.
Yes.
And I told her not to buy the extra fabric, and now you're telling her to buy the extra fabric. And I'm like, from now on, just ask Patrick. Don't ask
So
me
when
any
I-
No,
more
and I
questions.
agreed
get
with
it.
you too
Yeah.
because it had been so long. And again, at the time that had happened, that we had our discussion, we did not know that they were going out. But the lady in the store told us that they weren't ordering more vinyl. Like everything was on hold. You can kind of get a vibe.
Yeah.
They had stopped ordering, and then when they were allowed to order again, the manufacturer didn't have
what they needed.
what they needed.
So
So-
that's when I told Vince maybe we should buy up, and he's like, well, again, when's it been? It's hard to match fabrics
It
because
is.
you know we went a completely different color on the last one, but it goes with the theme of the truck. So we're matching the rest of the fabric styles in the truck, but it's just really hard. And like you said, how long had it been since the last one? And
Yeah.
and it made sense. But then when that next one came the following week, and then their notice of bankruptcy and closing stores, and I was like, I don't know where we're gonna. Maybe a marina boat. Maybe they'll sell
Yeah.
us a couple yards of their fabric. Like I don't know where else to go online. But again, there's that tutu dilemma that I was just talking about.
You
How do
order-
you match color from a square pixel on an iPad or a laptop or computer? It's so hard to tell
You're like,
what color.
okay, so on my iPhone it looks like this.
Yeah.
On my iPad it looks like this.
Yeah.
On the computer it looks like that. But if I pull up the Windows computer, it looks like
Totally
this.
different. Totally
And if I
different.
cast it to the television,
Uh-huh.
it's
Forget
which one
about
of
it.
these do you think it is?
Forget about
The
it.
answer is none.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yep.
ordered cream, it comes back banana yellow.
Mhm.
Yep.
You
I'm,
think
like-
they
I'm
have
nervous.
numbers associated with the colors.
Well, Pantone,
Pantone
but
does,
you
but-
have to license the Pantone number from Pantone in order to publicize it.
Yes. So
And fabric doesn't come on the back side of the fabric that says Pantone color number whatever.
no, it comes back like Jim Bob's vinyl
Exactly.
722,
Yeah.
and then you have to cross-reference it. Like
Or-
if you ever go to Napa to cross-reference a filter, it's cross-reference from
Mhm.
the manufacturer to this to Wix, which is a filter company. I know it's a
Right,
computer thing.
yeah.
Y'all are confused, but to Napa Gold, to Die Hard, to Benford Tools, to Craftsman's Executive Series, to Craftsman's Basic Series, to the one you want.
Yeah.
I
And
guess
throughout that process, it changes ever so slightly. So
Well-
by the time you get it, you're like, well, this is not what I
And
ordered.
it could be that Jim Bob's vinyl has created a whole different name for that color,
Absolutely.
and it's Martha's Kitchen Purple,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And well, you can't find Martha's Kitchen Purple anywhere because it's licensed strictly or it's copyrighted or trademarked
Yeah.
by Jim Bob's vinyl, and it just throws a whole wrench in the works.
So we
Have you-
found these fabrics that work. That's why I'm thinking,
Just buy them. We
let's
can go.
that'd be easy. I pop into the store. I want this. What do you want?
The whole- The
whole scheme.
everything you have left.
Yeah.
And then they
Well,
go and
scheme's
they
yarn,
measure
isn't
it.
It's they call it on those. I don't know what they call
Is
them
it a
on those
roll?
because it's a roll.
It's a roll.
It's not like fabric where they call it a bolt. Jerry, you
bolt,
were going to
yes.
say
I was just going to ask, have you tried any other stores like Michael's or anything?
they don't have vinyl.
Yeah. And the thing with
They don't have a lot of fabric, so more of a craft store. Same with Hobby Lobby.
Gotcha.
What scares me about the boating community is a lot of those fabrics are UV protected.
Right. So they're more
Uh,
expensive.
It's very similar to I can't think of what it's called. Witness protection.
Right.
Yeah. But UV protection is for the UVs, not.
It's protecting the UVs.
It's protecting the UVs. It's
well,
not
actually, from the
it's-
UVs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
at all like it.
No,
No.
it's different.
That was a bad,
That was a bad analogy.
terrible analogy.
Bad Patrick.
Sorry. So yeah, a lot of that stuff like Sombrella and all that,
Yeah.
it's great. like so in the back of my house, I have a couch that's sitting in direct sunlight. Bad afternoon sun. It's the worst thing you could
Scorching in
possibly
the summer.
scorching. It's the worst thing you'd possibly want
Right.
for outdoor furniture. You'd never do this. And but I have a couch out there, like an outdoor couch,
Right.
sofa, whatever it's called. And the fabrics on it are Sombrella. They look dead on the exact same way they do when I bought the couch 7 years ago.
Right.
You go buy something from Walmart and put it out there without it, a couple of years in the sun, it's bleached.
Yeah.
It looks totally different.
Oh yeah.
So Sombrella's a big maker of that kind of vinyl fabric and all that stuff. It's just way overkill because our trucks, the vinyls are inside.
Right.
They don't need. Yeah.
They don't need
I don't
any
know what
UV
the.
protection.
I don't know what the.
So it makes it
It makes
drastically
sense,
it makes
yeah.
it drastically more affordable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I want to go up and work with you and get those numbers, and then I'll go make the
Sure.
I'll go do the rounds while you're on phone calls, and
It
look.
wouldn't hurt also just to ask them whenever you go. Maybe they can give you hints or places that you could order online
Yeah.
or that you could
Yeah.
check at other stores.
That
or
might work too. Maybe we can take QR codes
Yeah.
or.
Well, you know
maybe
what?
the
their
name.
supplier.
I was going to say, even
Absolutely.
to get the manufacturer
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
reach out to the manufacturer, and they probably won't sell you small quantities, but they might tell you where else they sell it.
absolutely. And they're
You
like,
know.
Oh,
"Oh,
that
you're
might
in
work.
luck. We sell it right there in Nashville."
Yeah,
Oh, that's
exactly.
super
It's right on
close.
the corner.
No, we it's this losing Joann Fabrics is a tough blow.
It's a blow. I
It's-
don't go often, but once a year. But when I go, I spend
a lot of money.
several $100s to make these tutus, and I'm very sad to see them go.
Well, if you shop more often.
I
No,
don't do enough crafts.
so for me it's really brutal, you could say.
Yeah.
So for me, in Baton Rouge, my mom, she was a seamstress, and so as a little kid, I would get dragged around to all these fabric stores,
Mhm.
small independent fabric stores, none of which are still there because it's hard to be a small
Independent
independent
anything.
anything these
Yeah.
days. We get all these fabric stores, and we used to go to a place called Cloth World, and
I remember them.
yeah.
Was there a place called House of Fabrics?
There was a place called House of Fabrics, but not in Baton Rouge.
Okay,
We didn't
all
have
right.
one.
That's where my mom went all the time.
Yes. And so we went to Cloth World, and then one day they were taking the sign down, and they were putting a brand new sign up, Joann Fabrics, and we're like, "What is Joann?" Like,
Yeah.
Y'all
Who-
got
who
bought
is this Joann
yeah,
lady?
yeah, like y'all got bought out, and they're like, "We were actually bought out like 5 or 6 years ago. We're just now getting around to changing the sign out."
Wow.
It took them that long, but like it was a place I went to literally every week for as long as I can remember my childhood, and I remember I bought puffkins there. I don't know if puffkins, they were very similar to Beanie Babies. It was that whole
Sure.
fad that was going on back then. I remember it was one of my sister's, one of her first places to go apply for a job and go and do that with her, and just all these experiences. I have all this memory, all this Americana kind of feelings towards it. It's not a place I shop now, but seeing it go, it's a little sad.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
little like a piece of
Yeah.
my mom is kind of eroding away.
I did two
Um,
Christmases back to back in my childbearing raising years, and one I did aprons
Oh yes.
for both the adults and the children, so it was like a Christmas present. So I did go buy
Were the children tripping on them?
no aprons.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
aren't they long?
Yeah, see,
Like-
I mean, you give
No,
them
I
a,
made
a
children's
child.
size.
Oh,
children's
I made
sizes,
children's
got
size
you.
aprons, but they were matching, and they matched the family's,
The family crest.
not necessarily the family crest, but the what the family was interested in. I think I did cats on one. There was cats on one of the aprons
Yeah.
and things like that. And then the next big project I did, where I had to go to Joann's, was I did tie blankets. So it's two pieces of the heavy fleece material, and you could get really, dialed into what people liked. I know with the boys, I did one with like a football theme on one side and their favorite color, camouflage on the other, because they have that type of material. And so basically you're just taking two pieces of fleece and putting them together. It's no sew, and you just tie them together. And that was really important to me. So again, I have shopped over the years at Joann's. In my last, 11 years, it's only been once a year for the tutu, but they've always had what I need, and I'm very sad to see them go.
I am the same, and I understand. Like a lot of people are buying online, and
I don't know how they're matching fabric colors.
well, that's the thing is, they're not just a fabric store. They really are a craft store.
They are.
They have a
They have
huge
beads and everything.
Yeah, they have a huge a huge fabric selection, but they really are a craft store.
Yeah.
And Michaels and really, the Gauntlets, Hobby Lobby, right?
Yeah.
Like, they just do everything else so much bigger and nicer and better. And then the rest of it you can buy on Amazon.
Yeah.
So it's a tough space to be
I get
fighting in. And if you want to save money, you can buy it at Walmart. Like, they have so much.
Or the Dollar Tree or wherever else.
Oh, that's
for
right.
crafts.
Dollar Tree has a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I remember going there quite a few
Well,
times too.
speaking of going out of business, what do you think about the post office going out of business? Do you think it's going to happen?
It's not going to happen.
I saw an article.
I did too. It's not going to happen, and here's why. I don't think the post office is going out of business
No.
anytime soon because it is a U.S. government-owned branch.
It is,
Entity?
however,
Entity?
it is completely independent financially.
Is it?
Air
So,
quotes for those listening.
So if you know anything about the post office, they haven't made money, which they're not supposed to make
They're not supposed
money,
to, no.
but they haven't paid their own bills in a long, long time. They have been consistently
Probably didn't back in the horse and pony day either, huh?
they did. There was a time.
There was a time,
was
sure.
a time.
Sure.
Jerry was very young. It was
Oh.
1892. No, there was a time that they were not so bad off, and really the modern age of computers and email have just
They really have.
wreaked havoc on them.
Sure.
And so, for the past couple decades, it's been a while. Someone's going to fact check and be like, "It hadn't been 20 years; it's been 17." Whatever. But for a while, they've been losing money like crazy, and we've been bailing them out and helping them out and all this stuff. But they are their own self-funded, just like Amtrak, self-funded entity.
That's air quotes for those of you that are listening on the podcast.
Yes, pure sarcasm. And so they have had to modify and change with the times. So if you look back in 2013, the USPS was trying to eliminate Saturday delivery. They fought that battle until 2016, 2017, and they finally gave up because Congress wouldn't let them. They tried so hard, and they couldn't get it approved. So USPS, they've been trying to find ways to cut services and or make more money. Their one-day packages, I'm trying to remember, I think one-day overnight service is now a FedEx product. So like if you go into the post office, I think under one day it actually says FedEx, right? Or something. Yeah, there's something like there's a partnership with FedEx where FedEx handles it, so UPS or USPS doesn't handle the overnight stuff anymore like they used to. They Vince was Amazon. They were doing a special deal with them, right?
Yeah, the post office was doing last mile delivery, basically, where Amazon would deliver packages to the post office, and then the post office would deliver them all the time, really. But they also did it on Saturdays and Sundays, deliver parcels, which they weren't delivering mail, but they were delivering Amazon parcels.
And that was a big deal.
Parcels.
That was a big deal because they didn't work on Sundays,
Right,
and now they
exactly. Now they're working on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then Amazon, once they got their own fleet up and running, they stopped using the post office for deliveries.
Yeah. So the post office has been in some form of turmoil for a while now, and they're really trying to figure everything out and become profitable again. I had a family member that worked for the post office, and they were talking about how Amazon and these other companies were complaining because they wanted to know when a package was delivered at your house. So they could send you an email immediately saying your package has been delivered.
Sure.
I mean, I love it because I get that email and it shows me a picture. So like on my street where I live, sometimes they'll put the package at my neighbor's house, or there's another address about half a mile from me that's similar. Right. So they'll sometimes put it over there. So that picture helps out tremendously. If I don't recognize my front door, wrong house. And my uncle was like, so do they want us to like scan every item? Like blowing his mind ridiculous level. How could that possibly happen?
Right.
But like UPS and FedEx and now Amazon have been doing that for a long time. They've had that feature for a long time. So I kind of feel like they've been a little behind the times. Plus, I mean, with emails, you would think like, oh, well, there's less mail going through the mail system, so it should be more efficient, right? Because there's a smaller quantity,
Right.
should be easier to handle.
Sure.
But what happened is they lost all that revenue.
And they lost the revenue, and then they couldn't invest in the infrastructure to be able to do that
Correct.
real-time stuff.
Yes.
I mean, USPS still today, you get a package and delivered to your mailbox by USPS, and the next day you get notified that your package has been delivered.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well,
not even same day. It's the next day where you get notified it's been delivered.
well, even for where I live, I have signed up for that service where every morning I get an email
Oh, right.
with what's
Yeah.
being delivered today,
Mhm.
and it's always for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's never for today. It's like,
Yeah.
they're like, here's what's going to be in your mailbox
Sure.
today. And then I look at it and I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
Plus
So,
all the junk mail. Imagine having to document all the junk mail that shows up.
Well, that's a big thing too. Is the post office lost a lot of that business because it wasn't profitable for junk mail companies anymore to send it. We still get a lot of junk mail in the mail, but all those mailers went away. Magazines went away.
yeah,
A lot of
periodicals.
people aren't sending letters like they used to. We're not sending checks through the mail to pay our bills anymore.
Correct.
So there's a lot of revenue that went away with the post office.
We're not really
Boy, and I
sending
thought
birthday
about that.
cards or Christmas cards.
No,
we're
we're not.
doing
Not
them
to mention the
electronically.
bills that come in through the mail.
Right.
Or you're just
Or
not doing
paperless.
it
If you're
at
doing
all.
if you're going paperless, you're
Right.
not seeing that bill in the mail, right? So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
what did you say, Melissa? I'm sorry.
Birthday cards and Christmas cards.
Yeah.
It seems like a tradition of the past.
Yep.
It has.
I'll send some stuff through the mail still. I just sent a couple of packages. It was just after Thanksgiving, after we came back from a vacation in New Orleans. I had some socks to mail, and I chose
Yeah.
to mail
Yeah.
them through USPS.
Well, we mail
And I
like.
think they got there yesterday.
They do give a tracking number, so I can
Sure,
track.
they do. So-
Again, using website, but
And we send out like with trucking, if you're not in the business or not in the business yet, with trucking, there's a lot of like stickers you got to put on the side of the truck or things like that you have to have the physical sticker. I can't email you a sticker.
Right.
Correct.
So we have to send a lot of stuff out, and we used to use FedEx and overnight, and oh my gosh, at the end of the year, you'd be like, how did we spend $40,000 with FedEx? Like our UPS and
Average $45 a pop.
yeah, so we moved to using the USPS and have saved a tremendous amount of money because of that. But outside of that, if it's a permit that doesn't need to physically be mailed,
it's done via email.
it's done via email.
Yeah.
Or we have a really cool website now that's out where our teams, our drivers can go in and actually pull the permit straight off the website and then send it to, like if they have printed on the truck, print it themselves, or send it to the truck stop and have them print it. Our I was going to say Kinko's. That's dating myself. Our FedEx
Yes,
office.
it is dating yourself.
I still think it's pretty cool, though, that if you wanted to write a letter, you can do a little paper, an envelope, and mail something to someone for a very nominal fee.
Our postcard.
Or I did those
We
when
did
we were out on
postcards
the
on the road.
roads. Yeah.
She did postcards that went on the road, yeah.
I did postcards. So 2019, we were in Italy, and I got some postcards and sent them back to my mom and a couple other people from Italy.
Nice.
And they arrived there, 2 weeks after I did.
Sure.
But it was still very.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, my aunt and uncle, who I was very close to, they went to Cozumel, and they sent me a postcard in the mail. And again, same thing. I got it after they got back to the country, but that meant a lot. Like, that thinking of you kind of concept.
Yeah.
And we've got some exciting things within Hyfield that were a very similar concept because
Sure.
it does feel so good
Sure.
to get that.
I like
But
mail. Mail's fun.
it when it's not junk mail.
Yeah.
Or blackmail.
Well, depends on what side of the blackmail you're on.
It's true. It's true.
So, like, even at the house, 90% of my mail is junk mail,
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
only 1 or 2 or 3 items are important.
You know, it's funny. I went to the mailbox yesterday. I don't get our mail very often, but yesterday I got out of the car. I took the trash out, grabbed the mail from the mailbox.
Talk to the milkman.
Yeah, I had to have a conversation with him because I noticed we had extra milk.
Ooh,
Yeah, so I'm not sure why, but apparently we had extra milk yesterday. Anyway, so I take the mail out. There are 4 pieces of mail. 2 pieces were addressed to somebody different at our address.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or current address or current resident, right?
Yeah.
1 piece was actual junk mail, and 1 piece was just to Melissa, which I think was also junk mail.
It was.
So, all our mail yesterday
Went straight to
was
garbage. Or recycling.
straight in the recycling bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with the mail.
Go ahead.
Our mail here in Columbus sucks. At our house, it is the worst, absolutely horrible service I have ever seen in God's creation. Like, I'm signed up for USPS.com as well. I get the notifications every day. Literally, Don ordered a phone case. Prime example. It was supposed to come this past Wednesday. Every day. Literally, it was supposed to come yesterday, and he opens the door, and the mailman's walking up to the front of the house, and he hands him his mail, and it's not there. Like, it's never, nothing arrives at our house like it's supposed to. Never. Now, with that said, and as much as I despise the U.S. Postal Service, going back to your original question, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And the reason why I say that is because you have all of the last mile places that FedEx and UPS does not go to.
Correct.
You have all the
Oh, yeah.
little bitty towns in Arizona and Wyoming and these little bitty places that's got 20 people that live there. USPS is the only place that goes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And also on top of that, you've got to have 2/3 of Congress to approve it, and that's never going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Right.
it's very unfortunate. Not unfortunate, but it's just the way it's built. If you want like those blue mailboxes, you ever wonder? You see the blue mailbox on a street, not
Right.
not the mailbox like your
No,
mailbox, but the blue
postal
one.
surface, you put your mail in there.
You ever see one in it? You can see that's like this mailbox was installed in 1948 because all those have dates on them.
Interesting.
And you'll see some really old ones, and you're like, has there been a single piece of mail put in this box in 20 years? And when you're driving to the road, you'll see it. Sometimes, like your local places, you're like, oh, yeah, people use it. But when you're driving over the road, you'll see some in weird spots, and they're still there. And the reason they're there is because of what you said. It's very easy to get a mailbox installed, but if you want one removed, it takes Congress. And no congressman is going to say, take this mailbox away that's possibly serving my constituents
Sure.
because it costs the USPS an extra $5 a day in gas to go out there
And check it.
and check it. Like, no one's going to say that.
Well,
And so it ends up costing Congress or the U.S. Postal Service a fortune of money.
I still think it's an alternative, though, to FedEx or
Absolutely.
UPS,
And it's a good alternative. It's an affordable alternative.
Yeah.
They are maybe not quick, but they're relatively reliable.
They're relatively reliable, sure.
You know, like
yeah.
Don's family, to this day, you were talking about cards and stuff. Don and every one of his sisters, his mother, his father, birthday, Christmas,
They're doing it all.
Easter.
And that tradition, but it's a
all.
traditional thing. And if that's something strong in your core values of being raised, odds are you're going to continue that.
I've often asked, like, why you got to, he'll be like, oh, I've got a birthday coming up, I got to get a card. Christmas is coming, Easter's coming, this is coming. I'm like, why do you do that? It's just a way, well, that's just what our family does.
Well, and you
Yeah.
can tell the Postal Service leans into that because when you go into the post office,
They've got
they've
their
got a
cards.
whole wall
Oh,
of
sure.
cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might have been a sucker, too, for those.
I like them. I dig the stamps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we typically buy stamps by the 100 packs. You get the roll, but it's no difference in price to order the regular stamps. So
Right.
sometimes I go in there and I'm like, oh, we're doing Star Wars. We're doing Star Wars. I'll
Yeah.
take 100 of the Star Wars stamps.
Yeah.
That's always fun. And it's cool that you can order exactly the number of stamps you want. So you could be like, I want 106 stamps, and they will cut that thing
Yes,
up,
they will.
and they will give you your 106 stamps.
Yeah.
It's
Sure
it's
will.
really cool how that
We
works.
used to, I worked for a property management company, and we used to mail packages out. And I didn't realize this until I worked for them, but there are stamps of many denominations, not just your, I guess they're calling them forever stamps.
the forever
of this-
stamp. Oh yes,
Which is your base rate
yes.
for standard card.
First class mail.
Yes. And then there's postcard stamps.
Yes.
But there are denominations. You got 1 cent, 2 cents, 7 cents. I mean, there's 52, 75. I'm just rambling.
Yes.
I don't think they're all of this. But we at this property management company had to stock all these different denominations because we had a weigher and we would weigh the
Scale?
mail. Yep, scale. We'd weigh how much these were. Then you have to configure how much it was going to be, and then we would put stamps because it was quicker to do it that way than to take all the mail down and have it individually scanned and weighed and paid at the end. So we were doing it on our end. So all you had to do was go through the drive-through slot and throw it in the box. But I didn't realize there were so many different denominations of stamps.
Did you have forever stamps back then or no?
No, that was before Forever
So
Stamps.
2009, 10, 11, 12,
Yes.
somewhere around there.
Okay.
So I don't know if Forever was quite
There yet?
there yet.
So when I was a kid, I remember going to the store, and actually this happened more recently than that. Going to
April 12th, 2007.
Okay.
The Forever Stamp started. I
Oh,
stand
so
corrected.
it might have
Yeah.
been then.
So I remember going and doing the stamps. Say stamps were, I think back then a postage stamp was 35 cents. Does that
Yeah.
sound right? I think it was
Yeah, that sounds
35
right.
cents for a while.
Sure.
And so you would get the 35 cent stamp on there. But then with postage would change, like, hey, there was a rate increase, so it went from 35 cents to 38 cents.
Say to get the extra.
So you got the 3 1-cent stamps
Right.
to
Yep.
put on there, and
Right.
then give it to them, and that until you
Yep.
ran out. And then when you had the new 38-cent stamp, it was fine. So when Forever Stamps came out, I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Right.
We don't have to worry
Because
about
you can
that.
jack up the price whenever.
Yeah, I could
Right.
buy 10,000 Forever Stamps and
Do you
never
think they're
worry
losing
about.
out on money?
No, I think they're just happy people are using their service.
Hmm.
But I have gone to the store where we did a Forever Stamp, and Eric and I were concerned: is this too heavy? Like 'cause
Yes.
sometimes you can tell, and this feels a little
Sometimes I'll
heavy.
just throw an extra one on there if I think that.
Well, instead of doing another Forever Stamp, we did one Forever Stamp, which covers us at 52 cents, whatever it is right now. 'Cause it-
73 cents.
73 cents?
Yeah.
That's how much
well,
a stamp is
I'm
now?
on the website right
Back
now.
then, I
There's
think it was-
73
Well, I didn't
cents.
realize it had gone up.
Oh,
so
when this
much.
happened, it was 50-something cents.
Okay.
And they weighed it, and they said, yeah, it's going to be like 60 cents. And so they actually, instead of putting that little white sticker that they printed out themselves, they actually grabbed a nickel stamp and slapped it on there.
Yeah.
And that's, I paid a nickel for the postage.
Yeah.
on a,
How much
on a
is-
credit card.
Oh,
so
my
I'm
goodness.
sure the swipe
Oh,
fee
yeah.
costs
So it
more
costs
than
you
the
15 cents.
So,
How much are Forever stamps now?
73 cents.
Oh my goodness.
How much do you think a postcard stamp is
Just
right
for
now?
the record,
15 cents what it used to be when I was a kid.
I think the last time I knew it was like 42 cents or something. Boy, I haven't been keeping up with how much they are.
Yeah, postcard stamps are 56 cents.
I do not think I paid that much
Wow.
when we first started trucking.
I don't think we did.
I'm not
I've
going
got a roll of those in the drawer. I haven't mailed a postcard, and I guess I'd have to double up.
We,
So, what are some other denominations? Just curious. I see.
Baptist.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's Southern
1, 2, 3,
Baptist.
and 5 cents.
there's
1, 2,
Yeah, there's
3.
Protestants.
Catholic.
Oh, you're funny.
Jerry.
1, 2, 3, and 5.
Jerry, you knew it was coming eventually.
Okay, what else? Is that it?
Somebody had to say it.
That's all I've seen so far.
Oh, there's bigger ones.
Yeah, there are.
Well, if you're doing a express mail package, you can buy
Yes.
the express mail prepaid stamp,
the flat rate ones.
the flat rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very well, Jerry. It's interesting you mentioned how they serve the rural communities, those little small towns and everything, because they do. And I was just reading an article. It's so weird that you would mention this, Melissa and Jerry. Just reading an article where they are making some delivery adjustments to their standards. So, like the post office has these standards required by Congress. You must do X, Y, or Z. You must deliver the mail in sleet, snow, rain,
Right.
hail,
In a covered wagon.
whatever it is. You will do it 6 days a week. You will, like there's these rules that they have. You will have 5 days to get a package delivered. I think that's their current standard.
First class mail, 5 days. Yeah.
Yes. And so the U.S. Postal Service is actually changing a standard, which is no longer doing afternoon pickups. They're changing their standards to where they won't be doing afternoon pickups anymore. Now, if you think about how mail works, a truck shows up, 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning from the major distribution center, and they unload the truck. They route everything to the local Jeeps that go Jeeps. The local Grumman long life vehicles
Right.
that deliver the mail.
Yes.
And then people go out and deliver the mail. And while they're out delivering, they're also picking up fresh mail. and then they get it back to the post office. They sort it all up to which distribution center it's going to, and then a truck comes in that afternoon, picks up all the mail, and brings it back to the distribution center. So you have a truck twice a day, one in the morning, one at night.
Right.
And the next day, rinse and repeat all over again. So what they're doing is in these rural areas where there's not the quantity of mail that's coming, and it costs more because less packages means it's a higher transportation cost. They're going to move to strictly morning pickups and delivery. So when you send a letter out, and the
better be there before 10
post
a.m.
office, well, when the
No,
post,
not even.
So when the postman picks up your letter at your house, then goes to the post office at the end of the day and unloads all the new mail, it will not get picked up that night. It'll get picked up the next morning. So they're going to unload the truck and then reload it and send it back to the distribution center. And that's all they're going to have for the day. Whereas before, like I said, they would then come back that night and pick up. So it is, for those rural areas, going to add on a 1 day, basically, of time. They say they can still meet the 5 year. 5 year. 5 year.
We'll still get there for you in 5 years, folks. Don't worry.
Yeah, they'll still meet the 5 day requirement, but stuff that maybe would have normally taken 2 days will now take 3.
Yeah.
So they'll take 3 days, and they'll take 4, etc.
So mail your birthday and Christmas cards an extra day in advance.
Yes.
Yes.
Make sure you're online doing bill pay so your bills won't be late.
Exactly. Which, I mean, don't a lot of the I'm trying to remember back when I wrote checks and sent them in, most of those, like credit card companies, they would go by the postmark date, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
in theory, that won't change because it's still going to get postmarked that night at the post office.
Right. It just won't go out till the next day.
Exactly. So they are saying that by doing this, it's going to, I love the way the article put it, it's going to improve productivity and save at least $3.6 billion a year once fully implemented,
Yeah.
or $36 billion in 10 years. And I'm like, that seems like some easy math. I don't know that we had to break it down like that.
I was just I was looking at that
Are they
as you were
saving?
reading it, thinking, yeah, 3.6 billion times 10, 36 billion.
It's
it
it's
just
not
seems
like
weird.
it seems like when they normally say things
Yeah.
like that, it's like buy one for $5 billion or get two
Yes.
for $7.
Exactly.
Like this is it's such a weird way of saying
really
it.
is.
But they say through transportation, mail processing,
Yeah.
and real estate cost reductions that it's going to save that much money.
Makes
So
sense.
it's pretty cool. Of course, there are a lot of people. I shouldn't say it's pretty cool. It's a change. There's a lot of people that are against it. Obviously, people living in the rural communities don't like that.
Right.
There is a postal regulatory commission that doesn't like what they're doing. They actually have accused the USPS of overestimating the savings, and that it's really not going to save that much money, and they're being overly optimistic and things like that.
I don't think an extra day, a delayed day, but still getting there in time is gonna.
Yes, and they did say they're going to those communities. They are reaching out to their commercial customers, which I thought was strange that they're not reaching out to everyone, but they're reaching out to their commercial customers and letting them know you will have an extra day of delay. So if you need to, you may want to send something out a day sooner, or you can let your customers know accordingly. It is of note that through all of this, and with they had over 17,500 comments saying, hey, we're concerned about the delays, yada, yada, when they were proposing this rule. They're still going forward with it. They don't really care what we think. So you got that. You got the postmaster saying, or you got the regulatory commission saying, we don't think it's going to work. And it is of note that just a few days ago, the postmaster general did actually announce his retirement.
He did.
So it could be coincidence, but it is interesting that, he's retiring through the midst of all this change.
Maybe it was just time.
I think so. I mean, like, it's hard to say. They've been working on this now for 4 years. Like, not this, but the whole scope of changing it. I think they're calling it Delivering for America plan or something like that. They are really working on improving their numbers, getting financially solvent again. And in that amount of time, they have saved. They've reduced $8 $1.8 billion in transportation cost, which I look at that and go, how many trucking companies going bankrupt have been Postal Service? A lot of them. They've absolutely been trimming that tree quite a bit. They saved $2.3 billion by improving productivity at the different facilities and getting rid of a few facilities they didn't need. And they say pricing and product adjustments, i.e. they're charging more, they've actually brought in. So they've done those cost reductions of, what is that,
About $3.5 billion. That's what the article says.
No.
That's pricing adjustments.
Price,
I'm sorry.
So the price reductions, they've actually gone in and $4.2 billion of cost cutting, and they have increased the price of the things to bring in about $3.5 billion more than what they normally have been doing. So they're making improvements. It's still not enough. They're still not solvent. I mean, think about that. When you add $3.5 billion and you subtract $4.2, that's $7 billion of swing.
Yeah.
And they're still not solving yet. There's obviously a huge need for a lot of changes. So this is what they're doing to try to make that happen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming years. What services change? Will they finally get some autonomy to be able to get rid of some of these blue mailboxes? Will they eventually eliminate Saturday delivery? I think at some point that's coming.
I don't need mail on Saturday.
At this point, it feels silly, doesn't it?
Do you need mail on Saturday, Jerry? Like, I feel if you really need something, you probably would have Amazoned it, and it would probably just show up on the door.
I was about to say, almost everything I do is Amazon or something, or FedEx or UPS or something like that. And if I am expecting something through the mail, don't get me wrong, I do like that little extra day. If I am expecting something, like I have a phone case coming in as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's supposed to be here this Saturday. Now, I know for a fact it's not going to show up, but
right.
Right.
It's nice having that extra day of, I'm going to get my device and not have to wait until Monday.
How often are you doing that, though?
Very, very rare.
Yeah.
You know what I miss, though? I miss getting chain letters. I haven't had a chain letter in so long. They're fun to read on a Saturday afternoon.
All right,
do you need some dish
all
towels?
right, Father Luke.
Do you need dish towels, too?
For all the
us women used to do the chain letter dish towel thing.
For all of us youngins that never dealt with a chain letter unless it came through Yahoo, could you please explain to the good people listening what a chain
get
letter
a letter
is?
in the mail.
The email, right? So
you've
got mail.
USPS would show up, and unless your mail carrier was knocking on your door and saying, "You've got mail," well,
mine did. It was awkward growing up.
I bet it was,
especially because our box was at the street,
right? Yes.
So you had to walk to it. But
that would be funny if he actually put mail in your box and came to your door and knocked and said, "You've got mail."
So, a side note, real quick.
That's fun to say.
It is. You've got mail. So, a little side note. You do it. I know you want to.
You've got mail.
Yes. So, you've got mail. You've got mail.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have mail.
I had mail, but I lost her.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was special today, though, when you asked how she was doing.
I rarely do
Squirrel.
that. Yeah.
Rarely.
So,
rarely, yeah.
We'll get off your squirrel and get back to mine.
Yes.
What was I talking about?
Mail. You've got mail.
So,
the chain letter.
We had the same postal guy, lived in our neighborhood from like my birth to maybe 15, 16 years old.
Wow.
And we all knew him. His name was Johnny. He's a great guy. I watched him. He was right across from the elementary school I went to. So literally watched him like from the old Jeep.
Yeah.
The original.
The Jeeps were cool.
They were so cool.
Drive.
Right-hand drive Jeeps to having the Grumman, and it was brand new, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Now you look at him, you're like, how is that thing running? Anyways, so he retired when I was, like I said, 15, 16. He was the greatest mail guy in the world. Everybody knew him. He was super friendly. It was like, it was one of those things where like I'd watch these ridiculous shows on TV, like Leave It to Beaver and stuff, and they were like, hey, Mr. Mailman, and they're all happy.
Right.
And like, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know, everybody else is like, oh, I hate my mailman. No, we loved him. He was a great guy. Cookies during Christmas, like the whole thing.
Awesome.
And then we got the next mailman after that. It was terrible. And it was like, oh, this is what they mean. This is why it's a joke. And he would do that. He would actually put the mail in the mailbox, and then if he had a package for you, he'd bring that one package and leave it at your door.
Yeah.
So even if you got like a package at your door, you still had to walk out
Walk
to
up
the
and get the mail.
mailbox and get the
Oh, my
mail.
goodness.
And it's like if you're making the trip,
Yes, well.
bring everything. Sorry, anyways, your chain letter.
Yeah, and the chain letter inside it would say, if you have to send this letter with $1 or something to these people on the list or to 5 friends or whatever, and if you don't, you're gonna have bad luck forever or some variation of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
There's like an episode of Golden Girls where Sophia is like, she opens her mail or something and she's like, so and so, I can't remember the name. She's like, just passed away. And Dorothy's like, oh, and she's like, there's $5 I'll never see or something because it was a whole chain mail thing.
Yeah.
We would do the dish towel thing. I would do that a couple times.
what
I
was
have no
that?
idea what that
Again,
means.
you it's like a chain letter. You get a letter and it says some schmoozy, woman's tribe thing, and you have to send dish towels to the names on here, and 1 back to me, and 5 to your next friends, or however it all works. Again, the goal was that in the end, if everyone participated, you would get like 15 dish towels or something from 15 different women.
And it only cost you 15 dish towels.
Well, I don't think that's how many I had to originally send. I think it was like 2 to 4. I don't
Did
remember
you
how
ever
it
get
works.
dish towels back?
Occasionally,
Yeah.
no, because it's just like
Would they even be usable? I'm just imagining. Oh, did you,
I think
Dish
that's
towels.
the
Okay.
point.
you would put them in a bag or an envelope?
yeah.
Okay,
you would
I'm
have to
imagining-
use the
I'm-
USPS
I'm
to mail
imagining
your dish towel.
a dish towel like stapled to a postcard.
No, you would. So
You
you
get
had to
it
go
back,
down.
it's
You
got
had to buy
grease.
packaging. You had to buy. You had to rewrite your
Right.
letter and add the other people's email, or not their email, but their name and address. And
So you
It was
couldn't
this
just
whole
take a
thing.
dish towel, write on it with a Marks a Lot, and then
That
put a
seems
stamp
the way
on
to
it
do
and
it.
send
no,
it. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of such things.
Good old U.S. Postal Service.
Jerry, what did you send back and forth? Jerry found a racket where for a penny, he could get 30 CDs.
I've done that when
I
we've
did
talked
that,
about
yeah.
it.
I saw. I know we don't get political, and I apologize, but I did see a thing where it was like, Doge is going to come after all you people who never fulfilled your promises to Time Life Music.
Oh, my mom
Oh,
was.
that's funny.
My mom had quite the collection of that.
I wanted to fill that like.
Woo! They were all cassettes.
I wanted to do that so bad, and my mom and dad were like, "No, you will not do that. That is a scam. We will end up having to sell you into slavery
Yes.
to pay that." And I was like, "Well, I'm not. I don't want that."
Speaking
Yeah.
of cassettes, we did a trash run today. We went to the highest point here in Columbus, the landfill.
Oh, the mountains of
I got
Columbus.
a beautiful picture of it. I got to share that with you guys.
There's green in the distance.
It was a little foggy down low, as you can see the buildings up above. It was a cool picture.
Okay.
Anyway,
Is that it right there?
but as we were, that's it right. That's it. How'd you get that?
Wow,
Yeah, that is it. Huh, interesting.
interesting.
But where we were offloading our garbage, there were broken cassette cases and cassettes on the ground. Yeah, I guess someone cleared out something and there were cassettes there.
Wow.
I just anyway.
Did you have the cassette? It was made of a plastic that they don't make anymore. And it had drawers, and you'd pull the drawer out,
Mhm.
and it was like 3 of them,
Yeah.
3
Yes.
drawers,
Yeah,
and I think it was wood grain covered,
it was.
and it had that piece of chrome
Yeah.
on the handle
Yeah.
that you'd pull out.
I think I had that for VHS.
Yeah, they don't make that
I
plastic
it for
anymore.
I think I had it for cassettes and VHSs and 8 tracks too.
8
Yeah.
tracks. Yeah. Oh, okay.
yeah.
No, we didn't have that for the 8 tracks, but I mean, I just remember that plastic
Yeah.
and the feel of it.
It was
They don't make it anymore. It has to have chemicals that kill you.
It has to.
Diesel,
There's no diesel. Has diesel in
oil, petroleum.
it. Asbestos.
According to Landman, everything we have and use is petroleum.
I could see that.
Squirrel.
You know, we're in just now starting to get through Severance.
Mm.
Great TV show if you're watching it. Really having a blast with it. But we're also in the middle of watching Tulsa King.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
Great.
good.
So good. Such a good
so
show.
good.
I want to go to never mind.
Tulsa?
Yeah, Tulsa. I want to go to Tulsa one day.
Now's a good time to ask our listeners for some favorite series that they watch while they're on the road.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Eric. You should pose that.
You should pose that.
Listeners, post in the comments some of your popular series that you watch on the
TV
road.
series, yeah.
TV, yeah.
Yeah.
Not movies. We're not interested in James Bond
No,
or
no.
Star Wars
TV
or Mission
series.
Impossible.
Lord of the Rings.
yeah. We
Lord of the Rings is a great way to kill an entire weekend.
entire week. I went to get a beard trim on Saturday, and
Wow, your hair grows fast.
they were talking. They play a movie or something. He's like, oh, we're playing Lord of the Rings again. I think that was on the last time you came in here. Like, yep, it was.
It hasn't ended yet. That's the thing. It hasn't. It's not a repeat. It's not a
yet.
repeat.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
the extended director's cut extra edition.
yeah. What's the Criterion or something edition? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy,
I love that.
crazy.
My sister was a huge Lord of the Rings nut. I hated Lord of the Rings. Remember the old cartoon, The Hobbit?
Uh-huh.
I remember being forced to watch that and hating every minute of it. But we had popcorn, so you watch
She
it.
used to talk to me about Lord of the Rings in the van. We were going somewhere or something, and then I told her I didn't know anything about it, and now my eyes just glaze over. So she stopped talking to me about
While you're driving,
it. Yeah,
it's scary.
exactly.
That's why she quit driving. She's like, if I talk about this, we're gonna
Yeah,
wreck
we're
it.
gonna crash.
No, I used to hated it, so I didn't go see the new Lord of the Rings. But when the second Lord of the Rings came out, I was working at a movie theater, so I
Okay.
got us in for free.
Yeah,
And I'm like, well, if we're gonna go see this, I'll go watch it. Wasn't thrilled to be there, but it was like Christmas, and when you're just like trying to get away from the family, so like a movie sounds good.
sure.
So we went there and watched this, and I was like, holy cow, this is so good. And then we went home and we watched the first one on DVD. Two DVDs.
2 DVDs, yeah.
2 DVDs.
Because it wouldn't all fit on one.
On one, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when Titanic was on 2 VHS.
Absolutely. We had that. Yeah, we had that.
Wow.
Yes.
Titanic.
Melissa probably still has it.
2 VHSs.
Now, hot take, could Jack have made it on the door?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes,
would that have
it's
been a
been
great
proven.
movie? No.
Yes, it would have.
No.
It would have made a great movie. Because her ex-husband or her other husband made it, so then they could have been hiding together on the Lusitania. They could be talking about how they built this incredible
I
life for
just
them in
wanted to hit her
America.
upside the head whenever she threw that thing over the back of the boat. Like, I just wanted to be like, what are you thinking?
So you believe in elderly abuse?
Absolutely. In that case, all day long.
Well, please don't hit Vince. So,
She shouldn't have thrown the.
I'm not throwing
Was
anything.
it a
I'm not
blue
throwing
emerald?
anything,
Give him
Jerry.
as a
Don't worry.
diamond.
The
We don't
Hope
know about.
Diamond.
Yeah.
she could have pawned it. I mean, just straight
She
up
could've
pawned it.
She could have fenced it or all those things. I don't know. We're watching Castle right now.
I was going to say,
There-
fencing, really? Well, that's an interesting. Need a
Last-
lot of thefts, need a lot of fencers.
We watched Castle last
Ixnay on
night.
the Insfay.
And they
This
were
is recorded. I do need
it
to
was-
remind you.
we're watching Castle. Vince has not seen it. We started it, and last night's episode was about the elite in New York wearing fancy jewelry and how it was getting stolen and then fenced. And I'm like, I don't. Where do you even find a
Did
fence?
I fall asleep on that one?
Possibly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Was it on longer than 10 minutes?
Yes.
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 After 8 o'clock. Yes.
Yes. Can I say this past week, and I watched something I haven't watched in a while. I've kind of lost interest, but my boy, my ginger from another mother, was hosting, so I really wanted to see it.
Okay.
Was the Oscars,
The
Conan?
Oscars. Yeah.
and with my good friend Conan O'Brien. It was so good. I know
So
that you.
good?
I know.
So
you,
good.
You hear so many people talking about, I watched the Oscars, bunch of crap I ain't never heard of, and whatever, yada yada. It was so funny. There was one segment that was political, nothing else was, and the movies that they highlighted were actually really good box office.
Very inclusive.
Yeah, very good box office, like nice movies and stuff. That not the usual like you watch and you're like, oh, here's 10 films I've never heard of. Like these were really big name movies, and it
Wow.
was a really fun night of watching the Oscars. I really enjoyed it. Knew who all the actors were. Like it was really cool to watch. it's not always that way.
Sure.
What channel did you watch? What services?
So we watched it on Hulu,
Hulu.
which means we watched 97% of the Oscars. And do you know why I say that?
Because it went over and Hulu cut it off?
Yes. I got to see the Best Actor,
Okay.
which was Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
He's the one. If you know who he is, you know his face. Like, here it is right here. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as guys go.
Yeah, sure. He was actually he did the Pianist. I don't know if you ever saw that Roman Polanski movie. He did King Kong, which is where I knew him from. That's the good Peter Jackson King Kong with
Right.
Jack Black.
Yeah.
And he's done quite a few other movies. He did Midnight in Paris. He did Great
It's like a rom-com.
It is kind of a Grand Budapest Hotel. He did he's been in a bunch of stuff. Predators. He's been in Asteroid City, which came out last year. It was great. And he's in this new movie, The Brutalist, and he won Best Actor. And it was pretty exciting to see, like, hey, I know this person. They're a really, really good actor. So we're like, all right, up next is the Best Actress of the Year. And whoa,
Hulu stops.
Hulu puts the screen up on there saying, your show has now ended.
Well,
Please go to the menu and select other shows to watch or whatever. And I was like,
Wow.
are you kidding me?
Oh,
well,
man.
Adrian Brody did break the record for longest ever Oscar speech. His speech was 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's ridiculous.
That's why it cut off.
What can you talk about for 5 minutes?
I don't know,
Life.
but we've been talking for the last hour.
We have not you have not
Oh,
I
that's
have
true.
not. I mean, like
Well,
that's preaching.
Sometimes you do monologue.
I try.
Imagine if you're Best Actress and you go home and rewatch
So
it.
after
know.
Best
You know, like-
Actor, they must have had
So
Best Actress
Best
and
Actress
then Best Movie.
and then Best Film of the Year, whatever it is.
So you
And
missed two.
so I missed those two. So like now I'm like searching through. I'm like, maybe Hulu will get it back up. They never did. And it was it sucks. So I had to watch the last two things. That's why I didn't see his speech. I knew I had a 5.5 minute long speech because I didn't get to see it.
Wow.
But it was.
So Conan did a good job.
Conan did a great job. He was very funny. He was talking about how he's going to rush things along, and we're not going to go long this year, which he screwed up.
Yeah.
But just to really drive home the point that he's not going to go long, he did like a 4 minute long musical dance about how we're not going to waste people's time.
Oh, my goodness.
Just ridiculous stuff. They brought. Are y'all familiar with Dune? Have you seen the movie Dune, or do you know the concept of
familiar
it?
with Yeah.
They have these sandworms, which really remind me a lot of Tremors.
Yes.
In the movie, and so they brought a sandworm out, and he played the harp. They brought at one point, they brought a sandworm out later, and he did a dance on stage. It was just, if you are familiar with like Conan O'Brien, his late night show, the Tonight Show with him, he's ridiculous. I think would be the word I would look for. Is that you're familiar with Conan O'Brien's humor?
No.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, like early 90s or late 90s, just ridiculous, outlandish,
Outlandish is a good word.
Dumb and Dumber,
Over the
kind of
top.
over the top, crazy humor. And that's exactly how he did the Oscars. He did a great job. It was hysterical.
It's sort of in a way making fun of
Making fun of the Oscars, but at the same time,
the characters
holding
of
it
Dune.
somewhat reverent, but at the same
Sure.
time, kicking it down the stairs, while at the same time, gracefully helping hand. I mean, like it was very interesting. Thought he did a great job. I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun,
Nice.
and I hope they
Something different.
bring him back for next year because it was really entertaining.
Good.
And a lot of years it's not. A lot of years you're like, oh God, it's just gonna end.
Yeah.
So
I thought Billy Crystal did it, right? At some point? Back in the day? I
Yeah,
think he
Billy's
did.
done it before.
maybe
I think he was
Yeah.
pretty funny, if I remember. That's been a hot moment ago.
I still think I think it was the Golden Globes, but Ricky Gervais, just when he was just so brutal, so like, come up here, thank your God, get off the stage. We don't want to hear your politics. We don't want to hear
Yeah.
your beliefs. It was just
Yeah.
Beautiful. It was the last year he hosted. Shocking.
Nah.
But it was great. And the whole night, he's like talking about Apple and what great, wonderful thing they're doing while they have child labor in sweatshops in China making their phone. Like, he just went through every little. Now, I will say this. After that, they switched their production over to Taiwan and where else do they make iPhones?
Well,
China.
they're still producing iPhones in China, but they're also making them in Taiwan, India, and Brazil. But there are other reasons why they're making phones in those
Sure.
particular
I don't
areas.
think it was because Ricky Gervais
No.
made those comments,
No.
but it is an
Ooh.
interesting coincidence.
My phone could have came from Brazil. That's pretty cool.
Could be.
No, probably not. Generally speaking, the phones are made in Brazil. Never mind.
Yeah, you wouldn't get them
Never
because they
mind.
speak Portuguese.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, how exciting.
Yes. It was a really fun night. I enjoyed it a lot. Well, I guess this brings us to the point where we say, if you have any comments,
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. No, sorry, I thought we were doing the Sound of Music exit.
I never saw
Sorry,
that movie.
I got confused. I do the Sound of Music in the live theater
Yes.
twice a week during the week, and
Oh,
I just got stuck.
the
on
Columbus
that.
Little Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I heard you do an amazing job with that song from Frozen.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an amazing song. It's a little out of my range, but if I exercise, I can get there.
Well, I was told that's why you wear
Yeah.
the leotard. It helps you
It
get
helps.
those high notes.
It helps bring the air. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you gotta.
Yeah.
It's really coming from your stomach. You have to sing
No,
from your
it's coming
stomach.
from your diaphragm.
well,
you sing from your diaphragm. You use your diaphragm.
I get that, but when I was in band, to simplify it and dumb it down
Well,
for us
yeah,
middle
dumb it down
schoolers,
for
they
you
would say,
middle school
yeah, they would say your stomach, but it was
backcountry
really your diaphragm. Yeah.
Louisiana folks.
Jerry, how can you find us?
Well, so
Apparently down a rabbit hole now.
this is the
you
point.
You can email us at theoutaboutpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Jerry, you throw your voice well.
Or visit us at hyfieldtrucking.com.
Or call us at
833-493-4353. That's 833 Hyfield. Option 1.
And if you have any comments and you'd like to hear something that or you'd like to see something on the show that we could talk about, or give us anything, that's pretty much it. No, you just wanted to comment on the show, tell you how much you like it, how much you hate it, things we could do better, talk about how much you miss zucchini bread.
Yeah.
Certainly drop us a comment, shoot us a message, like they said,
Yeah.
an email. If you're interested in working with Hyfield, you could reach out to us on the website. There's a contact us form on there. You can call us at the phone number we listed before, which is 833 Hyfield or 833.
Hyfield.
493-4353. Option 1.
And you'd get a chance to speak to either Delina or Melissa, our excellent recruiters. If you want to chat with us, we have a chat box on the website. You can reach out to us there. Lots of ways to get a hold of us. I do want to address real quick Mr. J, I did see your comment, and we are actually working on getting back to that. I'm going to be perfectly honest and say that we talked about a great many things, and we did not do a good job of keeping notes.
We didn't.
So
we didn't document it.
We've talked about so much. We're like,
Yeah.
we want to talk about this. Have we talked about this already? I don't remember. So we have a research in progress, and hopefully next week we are going to bring you some more exciting
History of Hyfield.
history of Hyfield, how we do it, why we do it, how we built it,
Sure.
etc. So that's coming. It should be next week. If it's not my fault.
It's coming, Jay.
But
I
it's
want to
coming.
know if Truck and Crochet ended up watching Quick Change off of last after the last podcast.
I love that song. Time for a quick change.
No, wrong movie.
Oh,
Quick Change with Bill Murray and Gina Davis. No, I want to know if they watched it though.
never heard
They
of
had
it.
left a comment and we're wondering what the movie was. It's one of my favorites. It's very funny, very 80s-esque. So you have to
You have to put your brain in Top Gun mode.
put your brain in the 80s-esque. Yes,
Yeah.
but it's good.
Interesting. It is available on Amazon Prime Video if you are a Prime member, and also on YouTube TV if you subscribe to YouTube TV, and a couple places you can rent it also.
Yes.
It's an
Nice.
older movie, so it's not
It is.
necessarily wide availability.
Is there anything we need to worry about, like the Delta pilots that watched Top Gun before they left Minneapolis? Anything we need to worry about
No.
there?
No,
No. Okay.
quick change.
Quick change.
Quick change.
Jerry, final thoughts.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And
That's all you have?
yeah.
Well, in the meantime, everybody, stay safe, make good decisions.
Don't leave money on the table.
And keep those wheels a turning.
Night.
Bye.